Okay, so I had a viewer that was asking about the various generations, the Elite desks, etc. And it was a little confusing to them because when they heard G3, G2, and so forth, sometimes the models didn't quite jive up. And I'd have to agree with them when it comes to the EliteDesk G3 Mini. Um, And what I wanted to show today was a comparison of the 800 versus the 705. They're both considered EliteDesk G3s, but they are very different in how they look and their feature set. So I thought we'd go through those. Top one is the 705, bottom is the 800. You'll notice that right away on the 705, it does not have the USB-C. They both have some USB ports on the front. They both have the headphone and such on the front. Even the power is different. This case looks like it's a G2 EliteDesk as far as how the power button works. Of course, the more black case. We've got the silver, we've got, just the logo. Everything looks very different, the power on. If we look on the back, top is the 705. The layout is pretty similar. Power is here. They both use, at least for the G3 EliteDesk G3 35 watt model, they both use a 65 watt power supply. Both have network. This is Broadcom and this is Intel. They both have usual collection of USB ports for here. This is very different. This uses the Flex IO first generation. This is still using the expansion connector board, which is what the G2 was using. Here you've got your VGA. This is not changeable. It's locked in here. You've got a display port. Here we've got two display ports that come standard. And of course, if I had the Flex IO, I could add HDMI, another display port if I wanted to, a VGA, etc. This has the old school thumb screw that we found on the G2 and that of course was brought back with the G4. This has that the funky slider. This is where of course this is the antenna connector on the back. This particular unit didn't come with Wi-Fi, but this is where it would go. Bottoms are even different. This is the 705. This follows the look of the G2 as far as how it had these kind of, I don't know what you call them, sort of blades here. These are rubberized. These are all SATA connectors, but this is more kind of a shaped. I think this might, I'm guessing, fit a little nicer onto the back of the monitor. They both have the information as far as serial numbers, although in a different format. This is on the G3. This looks very similar to the G1s and G2s as far as its layout also, and putting the feature bytes, and it's got the the power, etc. If we look on the tops, nothing too dramatically different. And just for as I like to say, full disclosure, this is what the inside. This is the 800. This is the 705. Not a real big difference. Again, maybe something with having to do the stickers, etc. On first glance, there's kind of a similar look. Obviously the CPUs are here, the fans, the caddies, the connectors, but that's kind of where it ends. And we'll go over some of the differences. If you're familiar with the G2, this looks very similar to it, where the cable is just sort of free standing here, where this one is actually screwed down on the G3 unit. This is running the AMD chips. These are the Intel chips. If you were to get the 65 watt model, you could go all the way up to an i7 7700, which is 3.6 gigahertz, 4 core. This is also the highest you can get on here. It's called the AMD Pro A12 9800E, and that's 3.1 gigahertz. That's also 4 core. Let's take off these caddies and we'll look on the inside. Both use our favorite T15 bit. This does have 3. That up here. Even the screws are different. This is on the 705 and this is on the 800. On the 800 you've got a 3 also, but you're going to have to disconnect the SATA cable. And very different in terms of the caddies. Very similar to the G2. It sure seems like they pretty much took the G2 body. To be fair, the 705, they actually did make a G1 and G2. But boy, the G2 for the 705 and the G3 sure look near identical. Where when you jump from the G2 to the G3 of the EliteDesk, it's very different in terms of the overall look. I mean, it's again the difference in look between the 705 and the 800. Here they're going to support on the 705. You can put a 2280 M.2 drive in here, and you can also put a 2280 M.2 here. Although it also has an extra screw here that you could put a 2230 in. Now over here, this is where the Wi-Fi would go. Let's look under the fans here. This is where the memory would go. They both take DDR4. The 705 goes with a 2133 speed, where this is 2400. You'll notice even the fan connector is different. Let's move this into frame here. It's on the side, which mimics the G2. This is more of the later generation where they put the connector up toward the top there. They are both the aluminum heat sinks. This is the AMD one and this is the Intel one. You'll see that even the orientation is different. This one on the 705 kind of, latches going this way, where the other on the Intel. Other differences, so this is the expansion board we talked about earlier versus the FlexIO, which we have here. So here are some Geekbench comparisons. Right here you've got the EliteDesk 705 G3 desktop mini that we were looking at before, and 623 1091. And if we look at the one we're looking at here, you can see that the G3 for this particular comparison with the i5 6500T, obviously faster on the single core and definitely faster on the multi-core. So something to keep in mind. It's hard for me to know a good sense of apples to apples, but this is a 2790 megahertz, and the i5 is 2496, both 4-core, and yet we got so much better results on the EliteDesk 800. Overall, they're both, they're nice units. You're not going to go wrong with getting the 705. You know, if I were out and I saw two comparable units and it already had all the stuff, I would still get the EliteDesk. Just so you know, when you're out and you're seeing something that's called a G3, it may not, and it's a 705, it's definitely going to be very different, and don't expect the same stuff that you would get on the EliteDesk 800 G3 to also be there.